With the new crop supply and demand numbers, it was like a bombshell dropping on every soybean field in the country. Also this week, a major player in the chicken business hopes to make some sales at the Golden Arches, while consumer retail demand holds for beef despite competition from pork and poultry. Some likened it to cutting the legs out from under the soybean market. Bigger production, yield, and ending stock estimates all in one day, in one report. Well, that put the soybean trade in a nosedive August 10th. Extension's Josh Maples goes over the big numbers that made for lots of fireworks.
You know, we saw ending stocks increase 785 million bushels is the new projection. That's up 205 million bushels from the same number a month ago. The big driver of this is the expected increase in yields. You know, we're looking now the projection 51.6 bushels per acre on soybeans. Now that's up over 3 bushels an acre from the same projection a month ago. This has driven total production estimates up near 4.6 billion bushels of soybeans. And you got to think about 51.6 bushels an acre. The record's right around 52, so we're pushing up towards a record yield. All of these things put together, we're just going to see a lot of soybeans produced this year, driven mostly by the favorable weather conditions. You know, great crop conditions in most of the soybean states.
And of course, there's a lot of unknown about the demand for soybeans in the future, and that's kind of a cloud added to all these numbers.
Yeah, it's really, unfortunately, a storm in that we're going to see record production probably, or close to record production, and at the same time we've got some concerns on the demand side. The trade disputes continue. It was interesting in this report we actually saw export projections increase, but the reason for that is because we're at lower prices. So, you know, looking at now countries other than China potentially seeing lower soybean prices coming out of the U.S. and thinking that they may import more of our beans. So it was strange to, or, you know, not strange, but it was interesting to see that export number increase.
So does the downside increase now or stabilize? Where do you think we go? Although I know nobody knows exactly.
I just don't see a lot of stabilization in this market moving forward. You know, we've got the supply concerns. As long as, you know, the weather conditions continue to be strong, we're going to see a large crop. And then you've got the trade concerns as well. And it's just an environment that leads to more uncertainty than it does anything else. So unfortunately, this is not a stable market, but it's just really hard to see a lot of upside potential for prices.
Any suggested marketing strategies for producers out there given the situation?
Yeah, I think unfortunately we're in a bit of a wait and see type of environment. You know, obviously the best marketing periods have already passed for the season. But there might be some opportunities coming forward, especially if we were to see a weather hiccup somewhere. So just to kind of pay attention to the markets, try to find an opportunity.
Soybean trader Tom Fitzenmeyer has an idea of what one opportunity may look like in this shell-shock market. When it may materialize for soybeans remains to be seen, but here's his strategy and the numbers to look for.
I think, again, you get November beans up in that $9 to $9.25 range. If we could possibly do that, then I think you have to be a seller of new crop. Most farmers are done with old crop sowing. There's not a lot of that around. The problem is going to be basis. I think that the basis has just been terrible, and I'm having trouble believing that that's going to. And I know the theory is as prices go down, basis tightens up, and historically that's kind of the way it works. I guess I'm not sure that's the way it's going to work this year.
Time now for a look at today's trivia quiz. We might call it a little history lesson in farm equipment. Here it is for you. What year was the first U.S. 4-row cotton picker unveiled? Is the answer A, 1966, B, 1970, C, 1976, or D, 1982? We'll have that answer coming up for you shortly. Chicken processor Tyson Foods is hoping an upcoming big buy will open the door to the Golden Arches. Tyson Foods is on the verge of purchasing chicken nugget maker Keystone Foods. Bloomberg News reports that Keystone is a supplier of chicken nuggets to McDonald's. Tyson is hoping that acquisition will give its company an opportunity to sell its chicken to the big fast food chain. Well, despite competition from chicken processors as well as the pork sector, the live cattle market is described by some traders as good and steady this summer. Analyst Elaine Cobb has some thoughts now about what's going on there.
The live cattle market is strong. because when those supplies do get offered to the packers, they want to make their $300 per head. This is one market where exports are not bad news. We do not have terrible disasters in beef exports. So I think the line for beef, for live cattle anyway, is just good, steady strength.
Things aren't so good for the pork business in China these days. Farmers' profits there are being pinched by Beijing's decision to levy a 25% retaliatory tariff on U.S. soybeans. Soybean meal makes up about 20% of the typical hog feed used in China. The South China Morning Post reports that it's costing the average producer there in China about $5.30 more to raise each hog because of the tariff on beans. And a new line of tires from Goodyear feature a soybean-based rubber compound. The research that developed the Assurance weather-ready tires was made possible by the soy checkoff. The soy-based compound reportedly remains soft at lower temperatures, making for enhanced traction in dry, wet, and winter weather conditions. Well, back to trivia now to conclude this week's markets. Today's question, it involved a little machinery history for you. Let's see how you did with the answer. What year was the first U.S. 4-row cotton picker unveiled? Well, the Delta Farm Press reports the answer is B, 1970. It was a John Deere model.